Awesome.
Okay.
Good
Hi,
morning.
everyone, and welcome to our internship discovery series with Healthfirst. As I mentioned, if you're just joining us, you can put your degree program in the chat just so we have an idea of who is in the room with us today. My name is Maya Lloyd. I am the Student Career Program Manager for the Office of Career Services. I may have already communicated with a few of you in the room via email, or you've been to an event where I was presenting before. So thanks again for joining us here this afternoon. Today, we are going to hear from a Health First representative about their Health First Summer Trailblazer program, which is a 10-week paid summer internship. So very excited to see what opportunities are available. Before we get started, I know it's a Friday, we're on Zoom, but it is best practice for folks to turn on their camera. Let's have it on. Let's show our guest speaker here that we are engaged and receptive to the information being shared. It's also a great way to reflect that you are interested in the information that's being shared here, especially if you want to apply for the internship. So we'd really appreciate it if you can to turn on your camera. Thank you so much. See, look at your lovely faces. We really love to see it. All right, so with that, I will turn it over to Ashley, and you will receive a post-event email with the event recording and relevant links afterwards.
Great, Maya, thank you so much. It is so nice to spend an hour with you today on a Friday. This is probably the least painful thing I've done all day, so thank you for that. My name is Ashley, and as Maya said, I work at Health First, and I'm here to speak to you about our internship program, which is my baby, and I'm so excited that I get to have an hour to talk about it. So I have slides up. Can everyone see my screen? Fabulous. Okay. So I'll start quick intro. So that's me, bottom left. That's an old picture. My hair's a little longer now. But on top, you'll see Gayatri Nanda. That is my manager. She's awesome. She just had a baby. And Benay, my other colleague who works very closely with me for the internship program. And then Brandon, who's the director of TA. So he kind of is across all of our programs. So he kind of touches everything. So if you were selected and you were on site, you would definitely see him. So I'm very lucky to work at Health First. We are one of the nation's largest not-for-profit health insurance companies. Okay, not for profit. So I know some of us have some ideas about health insurance. I do too. I don't like my health insurance company. I don't have Health First. But we're a little different here. And at Health First, we really care about our hyper-local members. Um, we have members all across New York City, Queens, Brooklyn, all the boroughs. I think we even might have some folks now in like Rochester. We serve members who are typically folks who have lower incomes. And our providers and professionals speak, I believe, over 70 languages. So they really speak the languages of our members, and I'll share with you. So I don't know where everybody is. Put in the chat where you're all joining from. I'm here in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Woo. And I see Health First tents and Health First trucks and Health First staff all the time doing street medicine and sharing information with members who live right here, who are my neighbors. Yay, Brooklyn, Queens, Westchester. Awesome. So happy that you're here and that technology allows us to all be together. So that is Health First mission. We are mission driven. Our members are our North Star. And we are, again, right, we're not for profit, we're for our members. So that's something that's really important to our culture and something that as an intern, you'd be really integrated in. Here is a picture of our cohort from last year on our rooftop in Tribeca, which again, if you are selected, you would be able to join us for our ice cream social on the rooftop as well. It's really, really nice in the summer. Um, that's one tiny little perk, I would say. So this slide is ugly. I apologize for that, but I'll try to distill all the information down so it's a little more palatable. Basically, for our internship program, we are concerned with, as we are with all things, being hyper local. So, folks who are from New York, folks who go to school in New York. Typically, we are looking for rising juniors and rising seniors. However, that's not to say that if you are not a rising junior or rising senior, you shouldn't apply because things are pretty varied. So, I'll share with you that we are really concerned with making sure that this internship program is not a little place where you come and make coffee and then we just like kick you out the door, at the end of the internship program. This is a 40 hours a week full-time equivalent position where you have roles and tasks and responsibilities. And it is our hope that every successful intern will be made an offer at the conclusion of their internship. So that also starts the conversation about like timelines and alignment. So there are some roles where the teams want to be able to hire somebody at the conclusion of the internship. So ideally that would be somebody who's maybe a rising senior or perhaps even graduating a little off calendar, off cycle. So someone who's graduating May 2025. That would be a great candidate for a role like that. In addition, we have some teams who, because of all the boring, ugly corporate stuff, they don't have the headcount and budget right now to say that they can convert somebody at the end of August, but they know that the next year they'll have that budget and headcount. So in that case, they'd want to hire a rising senior because that person is still in school, but then they'll have a job once they graduate. So that's the way that many of our teams work. And I'll be candid with you because this program is seated in the talent acquisition department. That if you are an intern who is successful, you make a good impression on your team, on the Healthfirst staff at large that you encounter, on the leaders that you encounter, then if there's a case where your team doesn't have the headcount or there's drama, they don't have the budget to offer you a position at that time, if you're someone who's made a really good impression, folks at TA will know who you are, and if there's a position, we'll work to place you. We really, really want to kind of foster an ecosystem where we have early career folks who kind of grow with us. And I'll share with you, we have interns who are now managers. We have interns who are project managers now. There's a lot of growth if you're successful. I'll also share, so the program, as I said before, is 40 hours a week. You have tasks, you have deliverables, you have a timesheet that gets approved. You'll also have a mentor who will provide more informal guidance. So I don't know about you, but I'm sure like when you got to the CUNY campus, there were a lot of acronyms. I just feel like when I enter a new institution, there's a billion acronyms and people are like, oh, I'll meet you at the CR after FYW, like on, 2X, all these things. The mentor will help with that type of kind of informal information. They'll connect you to their network and make sure that you're set up in that way as well. In addition to the 40 hours a week, we have some really fun programming, I think. One thing we have is about 7 hours, I think. We have 7 sessions, 1 hour each with a Healthfirst leader. And these are folks in the C-suite. These are senior vice president level folks from across the business lines. And you all have an hour with them to hear about their career trajectory, hear about how their role impacts Healthfirst's mission, and to like pick their brain about like why do they like being here? What did they do to get here? What advice could they maybe provide for you as you go on and you navigate your own professional life? In addition to that programming, we have some networking events with intern alumni and kind of all of the teams come together. We have an ice cream social, which is not ice cream, it's gelato, which I personally think is better. We also have a Broadway play that we'll be going to. And we have a culminating party, which is open, um, which I really like. Uh, those are just some of the kind of more scheduled programming we have, but then we'll have opportunities throughout the 10 weeks to meet more informally with your group, to have like little lunches. We have sometimes gaming sessions in the middle of the day. We'll like have cards and Uno and things like that to kind of foster our community and make sure that we're a strong cohort together. Um, I'll describe a little bit of your first week should you be selected because it's not really intuitive. So the program runs from June 2nd to June 8th. June 2nd you'll be totally virtual. You'll meet with me, my manager Gayatri, and my colleague Benay. We'll do a little orientation, help you troubleshoot any technology that you're setting up. You'll receive a Healthfirst laptop and monitor and headset, so you won't have to use your own machine at all. Then you will be virtual for the following 2 days as well. You'll have a new hire orientation that's just with other interns, where you'll learn about Health First's mission. You'll learn some things about privacy and patient health data, some things that we take seriously, but you'll also learn about our mission and kind of our other guiding principles, which I think to me is really energizing. I don't know if you could tell, I love working here. So it's a fun time. I wish I could do it again. And then on that fourth day, on the Thursday, you'll come on site at 100 Church Street in Tribeca, and you'll meet with us. We'll have breakfast, we'll have lunch. You'll hear from our Chief Technology Officer, who's awesome. You'll hear from Brandon, and you'll do a meet and greet. We'll do icebreakers, and maybe we'll do a scavenger hunt. And then you'll just like hit the ground running. So I can let you know also right now, we are in the midst of recruitment. We're kind of at the tail end of recruitment. So I would say if you are interested, definitely I'll share a QR code that will link you to our website that has all our intern roles posted. I would say run, don't walk if you're interested to apply, because we're looking at wrapping up recruitment this month and starting the selection process probably by the end of March, top of April. So this is a reflection video. At the conclusion of every internship, we have the interns work with our in-house media production company to produce this really nice brief video. It didn't work last time, so I don't even want to try it this time, but it's on the website as well, so you can check it out, where we just have interns sharing um, about their experience. They're given prompts from the media team, so you don't have to script anything yourself. And it's just like a fun kind of way to share and archive your experience. And then that's also a way that you're sharing your experience with future interns. And it's painless and it's fun, I promise. And then we premiere it at our open bar final farewell party. You'll see here, these are just some images that we've captured, just so you know I'm telling the truth. We saw Hell's Kitchen last year, which was great. You'll see on the top left, I forgot to mention, every year we also have a volunteer day. This year we'll be volunteering with City Harvest to pack meals for folks who are food insecure. I think that the Florida team did that with City Harvest down in Florida last year as well. You'll see that picture with all the trees. That is from when we did Meals on Wheels last year with the New York team. And then to the left of that, the Florida team did an escape room. So those are just kind of some of the activities that you get the opportunity to participate in on top of the more serious 40 hours. It's not serious, but you know, the less exciting, perhaps 40 hours a week. You'll see that QR code there. Please feel free to check that out. That is our Health First Summer Internship career portal. If you Google Health First Summer Internship, it'll be the top result as well. In addition, you can reach out to me directly at earlycareers@healthfirst.org. And if you have any questions at all, I often get questions and ideas in the middle of the night. Please don't hesitate. Email me in the middle of the night. I might answer you in the middle of the night. So don't hesitate at all. That's kind of my spiel. Um, does anyone have any questions? I have some questions in the chat already that I can start with, and I have some questions that Maya very kindly collected. So perhaps I'll start with that, and then if more questions come up, you can put them in the chat, you can raise your hand, and we can do it that way. So you can apply on our website where that QR code will send you. I can also put the URL in the chat in a moment. I'll stop sharing my screen so I could do that. You can apply on our website. I'll share with you that Health First, unfortunately, so we're a federal contractor and kind of a funky business model. We typically are not able to sponsor work visas. For internships, it's a little different, where if you are an international student, you most likely would be still eligible to apply. However, because our goal for a lot of these roles is to convert them to full time, if you are an international student, you most likely will not be able to take an opportunity full time because we won't be able to sponsor your visa. I wouldn't let that prohibit you from applying, but I would keep that definitely in mind. And unfortunately, that's something that I would love to change, but they don't pay me enough to change that. I have a question from Mariana. Are there any part-time opportunities as well? So there are not part-time opportunities in the internship, but there are part-time opportunities at Healthfirst available. So I would also, you can find, using that page I put in the chat, you can navigate to our kind of all careers page and you can filter that by part-time and you can see the part-time roles that way. And if you have any questions about those roles specifically, you can feel free to reach out to me. If I don't have the answer, I'll get you the answer. So our eligibility, mostly kind of across the board, we are looking for folks who are at a 4-year accredited institution, such as yourself. As I said before, your class year is not really prohibitive. It does come into play, as I said, because of kind of the logistics of the teams. But if you are a rising sophomore, I would say still apply if you think that your skills match a role that you're interested in when you poke around on the website. The application is just your resume, and I believe there's a brief questionnaire, but the questionnaire is not like one of those annoying LinkedIn, like where they ask you the same things that you already put on your resume. It's not like that. It's asking you about kind of residency, asking you if you're related to anybody at Health First. We're a little bit anti-nepotism. It's just kind of little details like that. That's it. I have had some folks actually share with me cover letters. We don't require a cover letter. I wouldn't recommend it and I wouldn't not recommend it. I think it depends on how what you think of your resume. If you think your resume, kind of speaks to everything you want it to speak to, you don't need a cover letter. If you find like if there's something in your resume that you want to explain, sure, write a cover letter, send it to me, and I'll send it to the correct recruiter. No, so send me your cover letter, send me the role that you want to apply to so I can make sure it gets to the right recruiter and they'll get those materials. I have a couple other questions. So grad students, master's students are totally eligible. I'm sorry that I did not mention that at all. We have had master's students. The first person in that reflection video was a master's student. Um, Master students any year. If you are first year, second year, if your program even has a third year, that's totally fine. Some of our roles, some of our teams are actually looking for master students. And you could imagine that's because the idea is master students have had some educational background that they think is necessary for someone to do well in that role. So I hope that makes sense. 1,000%. And the job descriptions will also detail if they are specifically looking for a master's student. If they're not specifically looking for a master's student, but you still think it's a good fit for you, I would say still apply for sure. We don't have any remote positions for the internship program, so it's not really a black and white answer. So the program itself is hybrid. We ask for you to be on site Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. However, I'll share with you that Health First as an organization doesn't have kind of a hard and fast mandate about how often people need to be on site. So teams like IT, those folks, they're so computer savvy. None of them show up to the office. Why would they? They don't need to. It's fine. If you are applying for a role like that, it could very well be the case that your manager's like, you don't need to come in, but we'll ask that you be on site for our programming days. So when we're meeting with the CTO for the speaker series, when we have our ice cream social, we'll ask for you to be on site on those days. I want to see if there's any more in the chat, and then I'll turn to Other one. So is this internship limited to academic credits only? So, oh my God, this is paid. This is a paid internship. And I think that because we're in an early career position, your early career, no one is expecting folks like with clinical experience or sometimes even extensive or at all any professional experience. Um, that will definitely you'll get some more insight when you look at the preferred and minimum requirements for the role. But keep in mind, early career, generally the feeling is we're interested in folks who are interested in us and interested in growing and learning with us. That's a lot of why teams at Health First want interns. They like folks who are early career, who don't have, tons of experience. So I'll go over to the questions that Maya shared with me before. What is the main thing you look for in an applicant? So I think that well, I'll share with you. So the interview process, you would apply. If your resume is strong, you will get selected for a screening with someone from my team from talent acquisition. There'll probably just be a brief phone call or Zoom call, excuse me, and then if you are passed along, you'll have an interview with one, two, or three of the members of the team that will have that intern. So it's a brief panel interview, and then your final interview would be with the hiring manager. Um, the main thing that people look for kind of across the board with our applicants is a few things. So for sure, enthusiasm. Specifically, if you're somebody who can demonstrate your interest in learning about insurance, health insurance. And I know it's like, oh, that sounds so dry, but like, not for nothing. We all, I think, have health insurance or have experienced health insurance. It's not difficult to kind of spin that, candidly. You're into health insurance. Um, so you can display that. In addition, I think it's really important for folks to kind of consider the way they comport themselves. You want to make sure that you show up confidently, professionally, maturely, rather than sometimes folks can be a little bit flaky or they let their lack of confidence kind of shake them a little bit so they don't come off as their true, genuine selves, which are like warm and interested and eager. That's the type of attitude that we're really looking for. What does career growth look like at Health First? I love this question. I actually pulled this question to speak to answer for the last group I spoke to a couple hours ago. I think the growth at Health First is unique because we have interns who are managers now. We have interns, actually, one of the people who works for the media production team who you'd be working with on the reflection video, she was an intern. So it's really an ecosystem where we take early career folks, and if you're successful, you totally have a path at that team or even across the enterprise. I'll also tell you, because this program sits within talent acquisition, we are uniquely positioned to help folks when perhaps you've been such a successful intern, but the team doesn't have the headcount for that year, or there's some drama, something happened, the budget's weird, something crazy's going on, and they can't offer you the position. But you've done so well, and you've made such a good impression on the program team, you've made a good impression on the leaders that you spoke with, you made a good impression on your managers and your mentors because we're in TA, we know all the open positions. So I would say if you make a good impression, there's a good chance that we'll be able to look for and ideally find something for you if there's some drama with your team that you interned with. What are specific skill sets you look for in an intern? So this is definitely idiosyncratic to each role. So we have some roles that are like IT heavy, technical heavy, where they really want you to have some experience with perhaps SQL or other languages, other coding languages. But I have some roles where, for example, we have this huge project at Health First, like multi-year crazy overhaul of the way that we pay our providers, which is, as you can imagine, like really key to what we do, paying the people. Um, it's a massive, huge, humongous project. And my manager in that team was like, I just want like an intern who like cares, I guess. Do they know how to use Excel? Do they know about like project management, like kind of generally? So things run the gambit, and you'll learn more when you look at the actual positions. And when you go on the website as well, you can filter based on your skills. So you can kind of drill down that way. So it's not so overwhelming, I guess, to look through all those details. But I think overall, specific skill set, a lot of teams are interested in working with interns, as I said before, who have some sort of interest in healthcare. Um, I think also because Health First is so mission driven and not profit driven, an attitude of kind of, I don't know if I would say altruism, but like, don't you guys just want to help people? Like, isn't the world so eh? So that is one of it's like a major thing, I would say. Is this internship online or in person? So as I said before, that's something that's like kind of gray. We would love for you to be on site for those 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but at the minimum to be on site for the program days. And that's something that you would be able to speak with a hiring manager once you get to that point in the interview process. But I would kind of go into it assuming that I'll need to be on site for those 3 days so that it's not like a major shift if a manager is like, no, I do need you there. And we've just found like it's more productive for our purposes if we can all kind of have that time together. I love working from home. I'm home right now, but sometimes there's definitely a value of like being embodied and like being together and collaborating. Is this internship suitable for epi bio students? Yes, definitely. I think that that's a good plus if folks see that you already are having some academic training in these spaces. I think that's totally, totally a plus, regardless of what your skill sets are and like what you want to pursue, like kind of specifically. With that academic background, I think that's a strong candidate. What is the schedule of the internship? So we're June 2nd to June 8th, to August 8th. It's about 10 weeks, 9 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on site, Monday and Friday, remote. And again, you'll have a laptop and a headset and all of that. What departments and functions of the corporation will we be exposed to through this internship? Well, my hope is like all of them, really. There's a lot, but we're going to hit the main point. So you'll hear from our technology officer, you'll hear from um, in the insurance world, there's a massive department in a lot of these companies, delivery systems engagement. So you'll learn about like how do we deliver the care? How do we pay the people? Um, how do we fund healthcare? How does our company work with the government? Because we do, our products are Medicare and Medicaid. And like Medicaid Advantage or Medicaid Plus. So how do we work with the government to create these plans? How do we strategize? What do we do to prepare for changes? Because you could imagine, right, as a federal contractor, some of these EOs have a really, really big impact on the way that we do business. The executive orders from this new administration. So you'll learn from folks in med econ, you'll learn from folks in more clinical spaces, everybody. And on top of that, as an intern at Healthfirst, you kind of have a special status. People love interns, they like love talking to them. So it's really quite possibly if you get selected and there's some department that you're interested in, but maybe you don't work very closely with them, you can literally just email me. I'll find you a person. You just set up a meeting with them because they'll be eager to talk to you and learn about your interests and share with you how they got to where they are, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a few questions now in the chat that I'll get to. Experience in pharmaceuticals. I think that's a plus. We have two more clinical roles right now that are in dental benefits and pharmacy. So that seems like that might be a good match. I would definitely check that out. Um, MPH, 1,000%. So the folks who run the delivery systems engagement internship role, that's this awesome guy named Yaroslav. He loves working with CUNY MPH students. Actually, he has established relationship with some already. I believe that some do field work with, or we have one person I think who did a field work capstone project with him this year. So that is one right off the bat. I can tell you they're looking for MPH students, and I believe a couple of other roles are too. In general, though, having an MPH background, I think would be helpful for roles that don't even specifically mention it, because as I said, it demonstrates that you already have some training and thinking and interest in the field of public health, and that's kind of our meat and potatoes, I guess you'd say. And health policy and management students, yeah, of course. No reason why not. If your skills match, if you think that your skills match and you're really interested, 1,000%, don't let anything stop you from applying. I think health policy and management is something specifically that a lot of folks at Health First obviously need to know about. We have whole departments that are dedicated to both working with the government and other institutions on policy, working with lobbyists even on policy, et cetera, et cetera. So I would definitely check out what we have. Also, with the understanding that we don't have positions right now in those specific, like, governmental relations departments. However, you're going to learn from them. We have one of those SVPs speaking at our speaker series. And as I said before, if you can identify someone you want to speak to at Health First, I'm very happy to make the connection for you once you're selected as an intern. Health informatics. So I also know, I don't know off the top of my head what roles would be the most like the best like one-to-one match for those, but I do know that we've had health informatics students for sure in the past be selected for roles. I think actually with delivery systems engagement might be one that I can remember off the top of my head. Um, but totally health informatics is a background that we've selected folks to have. Can you apply for more than one position at a time? That is a great question. So I will um I will say that the best strategy, and this is kind of advice for life, is just to be thoughtful about the roles you're applying to. In my experience, because I know recruiters and I sit next to recruiters and I talk to them all day, they've shared with me that if someone is applying for multiple roles that are in one department, that makes sense. But if they find that someone is applying for roles that are kind of all over, so they are applying for an IT role, project management role, they're looking at a clinical role, um, that can read to recruiters like the candidate doesn't necessarily know what they're looking for. And that can kind of be like an orange flag sometimes. So I would say be thoughtful about the positions that you want to apply for. If you want to apply for more than one, make sure that they both fit or they all fit your skill set, and that if you're going to apply for a reach, make sure it's not something like so out of left field, because that can read, kind of as an orange flag. I think those are the questions I have. Does anyone else have any more questions?
Ashley, I know when we spoke, you talked about how competitive the program is. So I was wondering if you can just give people an idea of how important it is to, if you're interested, please apply sooner than later.
Yes.
Because yeah, a
Yes,
lot of the opportunities are already going away from the website. So
right. And I think we'll get better aligned next year for sure. I'll reach out,
yes.
Maya. But for this year, this is, as kind of the tail end of our recruitment. So run, don't walk to that website if you're interested. Totally, if you can apply as soon as possible. We've had some roles that we've already had to pull because of the volume of applicants. And like the volume is like 600 people, like to some of the IT roles, which you can imagine, right? Because um, the field of computer science is really competitive, just kind of in general. So that's definitely mimicked in the way that folks apply to our jobs. I'm looking for a fieldwork opportunity. So I'm not sure if this would be the best way to fulfill those requirements. I would probably reach out and get more specifics from your advisor or from whomever is running, like maybe the chair of your department, and ask them if a paid internship and share the role with them, share the details, and I would defer to their judgment on that. But yes, so as we said before, we've got a lot of applicants, a high volume. Definitely please apply as soon as possible so we can look at your resume and check you out. If anyone has any other questions, please, as I said before, you can email me in the middle of the night. I'll actually be out of the office next week, but I might, and this is not reflective of Health First, this is reflective of me being crazy. I might bring my work phone with me. It's a vacation with my in-laws. I'll want to be doing something. So I might bring my phone so that I can respond to emails while I'm out. However, if I don't, I will put an office away message that will direct you to the best person to answer your questions. So please don't hesitate. Also, if I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer for you. You can poke around the website, but don't ever hesitate to just ask me. Thank you. I need the luck. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
So
well, thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Any last words that you want to share? And I'll just wrap us up for the day.
well, I just want to say thank you all so much for making the time. I know it's a Friday, but it's really awesome to be able to invest in yourself in this way. So I'm grateful that I was able to present to you all. I'm grateful that you're here, and I really hope that you're able to apply.
Yes, definitely. And I know Ashley mentioned the number of 600 applicants. Don't let that deter you. Just make sure that your materials are very strong when you do apply. But thank you, Ashley, so much. This has been great. I love the fact that you really encouraged enthusiasm when you apply and interview. I think a lot of our students have the skill sets and they're definitely qualified for the position, but it's just as important for the employer to see that you are enthused and interested in what you are applying for. So that is very important. Like I said, you will get a post-event email with the event recording. I put the evaluation survey in the chat, so if you can just take a few seconds to fill that out. And yeah, I think that's it. You all have a great afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all. Take care.
Bye.